Good morning, everybody. So today we're going to talk about the Cocaine Mitch Revenge Tour happening in your neighborhood before election cycle, of course. You know the deal. You want to hear about it. Here you go. Hey cats, welcome in. So today, like I said, we're speaking on the Cocaine Mitch Revenge Tour happening just before the election cycle, of course. Trying to put trying to bring those poll numbers down, I suppose. The only way for these jellyfish to retain power is to destroy the chances of the Republicans winning, basically. And it seems like they keep trying, but obviously we're going to speak on old Mitch here, distinctly. The guy's known to sell out a constituent or two for sure. He's also known to be a political strategic genius when the need arises. For the vast majority of the time, unfortunately, he does what the Republicans do, which is cuck, bend over, right? Dude definitely he caves on a lot. Apparently, recently there's quotes coming out in a tell-all book that's going to say, how he was done with Trump and Trump's out the door. Then you have him saying he's willing to sign on to more two-way restrictions, and then now it's this election certification reform act. And they're going to make it seem like, it's just reaffirming, old shit from, well over 100 years ago, updating some. And their term of updating is where it should scare you, right? But they're basically saying, that it's just strictly ceremonial for the vice president to be there as far as the certification process goes in a federal election. And we'll talk about the rest. I'll let old Cocaine here talk for himself real fast, and we'll go on after
that. Those of us on the Rules Committee will mark up a bipartisan package of updates to the Electoral Count Act of 1887. Strongly support the modest changes that our colleagues in the working group have fleshed out after literally months of detailed discussions. I'll proudly support the legislation, provided that nothing more than technical changes are made to its current form.
Right? Fucking weirdo. Creepy fella. But anyway, he was telling you, I'm willing to sign on, with moderate, changes and updates. The vague language should definitely scare you. The fact that it's being called bipartisan absolutely should horrify you. And basically, they're making it sound like I was saying, we're just going to reaffirm that the vice president's role in the certification is strictly ceremonial. I could give two shits, right? But where it goes from there is they've upped the threshold for your representatives to challenge a federal election. And it went from one congressman and one senator coming together to bring something to the floor, as far as that's concerned, to put in a challenge. Now they moved it to a third. A third of Congress. A jump, right? I mean, we're not talking, okay, we're going to move it up a little bit, two from each side. So, I mean, whatever the case, no, a third of Congress. Basically, they just told you we're going to solidify our power, whether you like it or not, man. And they're using J6 as the reasoning, of course. Like C-1984, the power abuse and the extended time period, man, absolutely horrendous. But it's a moral and it's a moral grandstand for in political theater for certain groups of their constituents and certain wings of their parties. Basically, it's a desperation, a reptilian carcass grasp on trying to retain power. Basically, they see it slipping away, which obviously it should. When you're 140 years old, that it's time to move on. And you had the left absolutely melting down, like when it came to Roe, right? This is almost 50 years of precedence, right? And with this situation, this is almost 150 years, but they'll cheer this kind of bullshit on. And, and this is not, again, this is not a democracy. You know what I mean? This is not mob rule. This is a republic. And in a republic, you're supposed to be able to challenge elections, decisions, laws, regulations, and so forth. It's supposed to be, a government for the people, by the people. And this is basically, the elites that are already in power telling you to fuck off. That's really the only way to look at it. Like I said, this is, lizard carcass bullshit. And, until we deal with this, it's going to keep happening. And you see as it just keeps getting more ramped up as it gets closer to election cycles. And I know, obviously a lot of us speak on term limits and whatnot. It sounds good in theory, but then you get real statesmen in there, and what are you going to give them, 4 years? And then what? A loser for 4 years? And then by the time that statesman starts to get things right again, it's their limit. So term limits, it would definitely have to be something that couldn't be too short and, obviously not too long at the same time. But this is a prime example of something needing to change. And obviously I don't mean the change old cocaine Mitch here means. Let's get rid of the fucking lizard carcasses. This is going to be an ongoing issue. Like I said, the closer it gets to election cycles, the more they're going to ramp up. They're willing to lose an election to hold their position, basically. That's what it boils down to as far as I'm concerned. Tell me what you think. Tell me I'm bullshitting. Tell me to fuck off. Debate, whatever. You know the deal. Like, share, subscribe. Smell you later.